change everything. It's called Wolf 1069b, and it orbits a small, quiet star. But why is it so special? This planet sits in the Goldilocks zone, where it's not too hot and not too cold, making it possible for liquid water to exist. And where there's water, there could be life. Wolf 1069b is about the same size as Earth, and it's rocky, just like our home. Could this be the new Earth we've been searching for? Scientists are eager to find out. The planet is close enough to its star to stay warm, but far enough to avoid dangerous solar radiation. But what truly lies on Wolf 1069b? Could there be oceans, mountains, or maybe even creatures looking up at the stars like we do? The more we discover about this mysterious world, the closer we come to answering one of humanity's oldest questions. Are we alone in the universe? Wolf 1069b could be the key.
What if you could time travel to any era? Imagine standing in ancient Egypt, watching the pyramids being built with your own eyes, or walking through a medieval castle, feeling the cold stone walls and hearing knights preparing for battle. But what if you accidentally landed in the future? A world where technology has taken over and robots rule the cities. Could you survive in a place where nothing is familiar? Each era holds mysteries, dangers, and incredible moments. Would you risk it all to experience them? The past and future await, but can you ever come back once you go?
Now, what if humans moved underground to survive? Imagine living in underground cities, powered by geothermal heat. No sunlight means no sunsets, no sunrises, just the constant hum of life under the Earth's crust. We'd all be pale, vitamin D deficient mole people. Fancy that? Alright, so the sun's gone. Time to pack up and find a new star, right? Only problem is, we're not exactly ready to hop on a spaceship and cruise to the next solar system. Plus, even if we could, where would we go? Our options are limited. So unless Elon Musk has something up his sleeve, we're stuck here for the ride. Eventually, Earth would be an icy, lifeless rock floating through space. The atmosphere would collapse, the air would thin out, and whatever was left of life on Earth, it'd be frozen in time. So yeah, not the best ending to the story. So, what's the takeaway? Let's just hope the sun keeps shining for a long, long time. Because if it suddenly went dark, well, let's just say you'd want to start shopping for some serious winter gear.
What are the scariest things in the world? Sure, spiders and heights might give you the chills, but the real terrors are even more shocking. Picture the deep, dark ocean, where mysterious creatures like the giant squids swim in the shadows, so rare that scientists barely know them. Or think about space, cold, silent, and infinite, where it's just you and the endless void. Scary, right? Then there are natural disasters like earthquakes and tornadoes that hit out of nowhere, leaving destruction in their path. But even scarier? Superbugs, tiny, invisible bacteria that no medicine can stop. They're out there waiting. What would you do if you came face to face with one of these nightmares?
In 1977, humanity sent two small probes into the unknown, Voyager 1 and 2. They were meant to explore our solar system, but what happened next went beyond anyone's imagination. Voyager 1 is over 14 billion miles from Earth, the farthest any man-made object has ever traveled. It left the bubble of our solar system and entered interstellar space, where the environment is completely alien. It sends whispers from the edges of our solar system, strange sounds from deep space. Voyager 2 followed, sending back data from Uranus and Neptune, places no other spacecraft has visited. Over 40 years later, both probes continued to send signals back to Earth. They carry a golden record with the sounds of Earth, a message to any life they may encounter. Imagine something built by us, floating between stars, carrying the story of our existence. The Voyager probes prove one thing: our journey into the universe has only just begun.
How many types of tornadoes are there? You might be surprised. When you think of tornadoes, you probably imagine a giant funnel tearing across the ground. But did you know they come in all shapes and sizes? Some are small, quick, and disappear in seconds, while others turn into massive, unstoppable forces. There's the familiar supercell tornado. Yes, the kind that rips through towns. But have you ever heard of a wedge tornado? It's so huge, it can look like a wall of clouds crashing down. And let's not forget the water spout. A tornado over water, just waiting to move on to land. These storms are unpredictable and powerful. Can you imagine what it would be like to face one?
Imagine two of the densest objects in the universe speeding toward each other. These are neutron stars, leftovers from massive stars that exploded long ago. Now picture them colliding. The moment they meet, it's like a cosmic fireworks show. The impact creates a shockwave so powerful that it ripples through space itself. Gold and other precious metals are forged in this chaos, scattered across the universe like confetti. But that's not all. This collision might even create a black hole, a hungry beast ready to gobble up anything nearby. It's a cosmic clash that's both terrifying and awe-inspiring.
Imagine a world where you're about to dip into an icy lake. But it's not water you're diving into. It's liquid methane. Welcome to Titan, Saturn's most mysterious moon, where lakes shimmer with a chilling, alien liquid. Your mission? A 5-second swim. Easy, right? Well, Titan is no quick trip. It's over 1 billion kilometers away, and the journey alone takes 7 years. You finally land, and as you step out, you're greeted by a frigid minus 180 degrees Celsius atmosphere. Even though Titan's air is mostly nitrogen, there's no breathing here without an oxygen tank. As you leap around this low-gravity world, raindrops fall in slow motion around you, thanks to the thick atmosphere. And now, it's time for that daring dip. But beware, Even in a spacesuit, the cold might just turn your adventure into a frosty disaster. Who knew taking a swim on Titan could be this intense?
Imagine living in a place where you can't see your own hand in front of your face and everything around you is sizzling. Now, let's visit a planet that could easily be mistaken for a scene straight out of a horror movie. Gliese 581c was once thought to be a potential home for life, but it turns out it's more like a death trap. This planet is tidally locked, meaning one side always faces its star while the other side remains in eternal darkness. The sunlit side is a scorching desert, while the dark side is a frozen wasteland. But it's the narrow strip between these two extremes, the Twilight Zone, that's truly bizarre. Here, the temperature might be just right for liquid water, but the conditions are far from friendly. The planet's atmosphere is likely filled with thick clouds of carbon dioxide, making the air toxic to breathe. And if that's not bad enough, the intense gravity would make everything on Gliese 581c feel much heavier. Walking around would feel like trying to move with an elephant sitting on your shoulders. Not exactly a dream vacation spot. Speaking of extreme conditions, let's talk about a planet where it rains glass. Let's start with a planet that makes even the fiercest furnace on Earth look like a cozy campfire. This planet, called K2141b, is so close to its star that one side is always facing the heat, while the other side is forever in the dark. On the hot side, temperatures soar to over 4,300 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to not just melt rock but vaporize it. Yes, on this planet rocks can literally turn into gas, but that's not even the weirdest part. As these rock vapors rise into the sky, they cool down and fall back to the surface as, wait for it, rock rain. Imagine needing an umbrella made of steel just to survive the weather. But perhaps the most terrifying alien world of all is one that we haven't even discovered yet. Out there in the vastness of space could be planets that make even the scariest horror movies look tame. Imagine a world where the ground is made of acid, where the sky is filled with poisonous clouds, and where the air is so thick with toxins that every breath could be your last. These are the kinds of planets that could exist beyond our solar system waiting to be discovered. So the next time you look up at the night sky and wonder what's out there, remember that not all alien worlds are like Earth. Some are places of unimaginable horror, where the rules of nature are twisted into something truly terrifying. Whether it's a planet where rocks rain from the sky, a world of eternal darkness, or a place where the air itself is deadly, these alien worlds remind us just how strange and dangerous the universe can be.
What's the most painful way to die in space? Buckle up, because we're about to take a wild ride through some of the most horrifying ways the universe could finish you off. Spoiler: space isn't exactly a vacation destination. So you're floating in space and your suit breaks open. Welcome to the cosmic vacuum. First, the air gets sucked right out of your lungs. Then your blood, it starts to boil. Not from heat, but because there's zero pressure out there. Your body bloats up like a balloon, and just before you pop like one, you lose consciousness. Lovely, right? Space is cold. Really, really cold. We're talking minus 455 degrees Fahrenheit, cold. Without the sun's warmth, you'd slowly freeze solid like a human popsicle. And no, there's nothing cozy about it. Your body would radiate heat into the empty void until you're basically a block of ice floating through the stars. Hope you brought a jacket? If freezing to death sounds bad, how about roasting? If you're unlucky enough to get too close to a star, your skin would blister, burn, and...
Imagine a world where the planets are so wild, you wouldn't even dare to visit them. First up, we have TOI 849b, a planet that's so close to its star, it's like it's trying to get a tan, 24/7. But don't let that fool you. It's a massive core of a failed gas giant. This planet is all rock and no fluff, like a giant space potato. Vacation. Think again. The temperatures here can melt metal. Then there's HR 5183b, also known as the Whiplash Planet. This bad boy takes an oval path around its star, so wild it would make a roller coaster look like a kiddie ride. 1 year on this planet is like being on the longest, craziest road trip ever. Sometimes it's so far from its star, it's freezing, and other times it's so close, it's burning hot. Just imagine a planet with an extreme case of mood swings. These two planets are incredible, but maybe it's best to admire them from afar, like really far.
The sun can suddenly erupt, sending out waves of energy that can knock out satellites and power grids on Earth. These violent bursts are called solar flares, and they happen in the sun's atmosphere. But what triggers these explosions? Deep inside the sun, powerful magnetic fields twist and snap. When this energy builds up, it bursts out in a flash of light and heat, releasing more energy than 1 million nuclear bombs. It travels across space in just minutes. Scientists have been studying solar flares for years, trying to unlock their secrets. These flares can mess with GPS systems, radio signals, and even astronauts in space. But solar flares aren't just chaos. They might also tell us more about the sun's hidden powers. Each flare is like a puzzle piece, revealing more of the sun's mysterious atmosphere. One day we may learn to predict them before they strike. The sun may be unpredictable, but we're getting closer to understanding its wild nature.
Imagine a storm so massive that it tears apart everything in its path. The biggest tornado ever recorded on Earth, the El Reno tornado, hit Oklahoma in 2013. At its peak, this terrifying monster stretched over 2.6 miles wide, larger than some cities. Winds inside the tornado reached 300 miles per hour, strong enough to rip houses from their foundations and toss cars like toys. As it roared across the plains, nothing stood a chance. The sky turned black, and the roar was deafening. People scrambled for shelter, but even storm chasers, experts who track tornadoes, were caught off guard. This tornado wasn't just big, it was unpredictable. It changed direction several times, leaving even the most experienced meteorologists in shock. By the time it was over, lives were lost, and the landscape was changed forever. The El Reno tornado reminds us of nature's unstoppable power, leaving us in awe of its terrifying force.
Space is a place of wonders, but some phenomena are beyond belief. Quasars, giant energy sources in the centers of galaxies. They're powered by black holes and can outshine entire galaxies. These strange, powerful objects prove space is wilder than we ever imagined. The universe is a place where reality is stranger than fiction, and we've only just begun to scratch the surface. Then there's Pulsar, a star that spins so fast it flashes beams of light like a cosmic lighthouse. These stars can spin hundreds of times per second. And then there's a rogue planet, a lonely world floating through space without a star to orbit. It's lost, wandering in the darkness. And the wildest of all, galactic cannibalism. Yes, galaxies collide and devour each other, merging into a single massive galaxy. Space isn't just vast, it's full of the bizarre, and we've barely scratched the surface of its secrets.
A massive asteroid suddenly appears in our solar system, heading straight for Earth. At first, it looks like a distant star, but as it gets closer, you realize it's no small rock. It's as big as a mountain. The impact could wipe out all life, just like the asteroid that took out the dinosaurs. As the asteroid approaches, Earth's gravitational pull draws it closer. The skies turn fiery red, and the ground starts to shake. You can see the ocean receding, preparing for a colossal tsunami. People are running, panicking, and trying to find shelter. But deep down, everyone knows there's no escape. Suddenly, the asteroid collides with Earth, creating a shockwave that circles the globe. Mountains crumble, cities are flattened, and the oceans boil. The entire planet is plunged into darkness as ash and debris fill the atmosphere. Will Earth survive?
Let's go deeper, much deeper, into the abyssal plain where it's cold, dark, and almost silent. Here, another terrifying event is unfolding, the rise of the bristleworms. These worms are unlike anything else. Their bodies are lined with sharp, venomous bristles that pierce any creature unlucky enough to come too close. Their venom burns and causes intense pain, leaving their victims paralyzed. But that's not the creepiest part. Bristleworms are now swarming, multiplying in numbers like never before. They've become more aggressive, attacking fish, crabs, and anything in their path. They are turning the deep ocean into a battleground. One of the creepiest things happening right now is the rise of the sleeper sharks. These massive predators are found in the deep, dark waters of the Arctic and North Atlantic. What makes them so unsettling? They live for centuries, up to 500 years. That's right, some of these sharks swimming today were born when humans were still in the Renaissance period. They grow incredibly slowly, and their massive, ancient bodies drift through the water like silent ghosts. They're also almost blind, their eyes clouded over by parasites that dangle from their sockets like something straight out of a horror movie. In recent years, scientists have discovered deep-sea craters spewing methane gas from the seabed. These methane seeps are growing, releasing enormous amounts of methane into the water. As the gas rises, it forms bubbles, giant, deadly bubbles that could, in theory, cause ships to sink without a trace. Imagine a perfectly calm ocean, when suddenly, without warning, a ship is swallowed by the sea, leaving nothing behind. These methane seeps are scattered across the ocean floor, and no one knows when or if one might erupt with catastrophic force. What if I told you that the most terrifying, alien-like creatures are not found in space, but right here on Earth, hiding in the depths of the ocean? What if the ocean, the very place we look to for calm, beauty, and peace, is hiding secrets so disturbing they can make your skin crawl? Right now, under the vast, dark waters, things are happening that will shake your understanding of the world. If all this isn't creepy enough, something is happening in the ocean that no one can explain. Off the coast of Japan, there have been reports of strange, unidentified sounds coming from the deep. These sounds, known as the bloop, are unlike anything scientists have ever recorded. The sound is so loud it can be heard across entire oceans, but no one knows what's causing it. Is it some unknown creature hiding in the darkest depths of the sea, or is it something else, something far more terrifying? Off the coast of Australia, something strange is happening. Scientists have discovered a deadly new threat rising from the deep, the zombie worms. These creatures don't look like much, but they're part of one of the ocean's most horrifying feeding frenzies. Zombie worms feast on the bones of dead whales, ships, and anything that sinks to the ocean floor. These worms release an acid that eats through bones, allowing them to suck out the nutrients inside. Picture an underwater graveyard of whale skeletons, crawling with thousands of wriggling, blood-red worms. They devour flesh, leaving only the skeleton behind. This is happening right now, far below us, out of sight, out of mind. But
can you imagine walking outside and the sky suddenly turns green? No, it's not aliens. It's a supercell thunderstorm brewing a massive tornado. But that's just the start. Deep in the ocean, there's an underwater landslide that triggers a mega tsunami, sending waves as high as skyscrapers crashing onto the shore. Ever heard of a limnic eruption? It's a rare disaster where a lake explodes, releasing a deadly cloud of gas that silently suffocates everything nearby. And let's not forget the freakish fire tornadoes, where fire meets a twister, spiraling into a deadly flaming vortex. These disasters may be rare, but when they strike, they're unforgettable.
Imagine floating in space, surrounded by stars that twinkle like diamonds on black velvet. Suddenly, a mysterious force pulls you closer to a gigantic, glowing cloud. What is this, you wonder? It's a nebula, a cosmic nursery where stars are born. But wait, the adventure isn't over yet. You zoom past a black hole, the universe's most powerful vacuum cleaner. Don't worry, you won't get sucked in today. You're safe as you drift towards a galaxy, billions of stars swirling together like cosmic cotton candy. As you explore, you realize the universe is full of hidden truths, just waiting to be discovered. Isn't that mind-blowing?
Have you ever stopped and thought about the forces that can turn our world upside down? The ones that strike out of nowhere, leaving nothing but chaos and fear in their wake? Buckle up, because today we're diving headfirst into some of nature's scariest mysteries. And trust me, these might just keep you up tonight. Now, if you thought regular tornadoes were bad, wait until you hear about fire whirls. Yeah, you heard that right. Tornadoes made of fire. They're rare, but when they happen, it's like the apocalypse has arrived. During the 2020 California wildfires, there was one so big you could see it from space. Imagine standing there, watching as a whirlwind of fire spins towards you, incinerating everything in its path. There's no running from something like that. As glaciers melt, something even scarier is emerging. Glacial lakes. These ticking time bombs are held back by walls of ice or rock, and when they burst, millions of gallons of water come rushing down, taking out everything in their path. Villages, forests, roads, you name it. Take the Himalayas, for instance. Glacial lakes there are growing bigger by the day, and when they go, the devastation will be massive. Imagine a wall of water suddenly charging down the mountain, wiping out everything in its way. You wouldn't even have time to scream. And with global warming, these lakes are getting more dangerous by the day. So yeah, keep an eye on those glaciers.
Have you ever wondered how small we are in this vast universe? There are more stars in the universe than grains of sand on all the beaches of Earth. Each of those stars could have planets, and some of them might even have life. But here's the crazy part. The universe is still growing. Every second, galaxies are moving away from each other, stretching space itself. Now, picture a black hole. It's like a cosmic monster, swallowing anything that comes too close, even light. But scientists recently discovered that black holes can also spit out energy in powerful jets, shooting it across millions of light years. And have you heard about dark matter? We can't see it or touch it, yet it makes up about 85% of the universe. It's like the invisible glue holding galaxies together. Without it, everything might just drift apart. Finally, let's talk about the end of the universe. Some scientists think it could end in a big freeze, where all energy fades away, leaving the universe cold and empty. But until then, we have billions of years to explore its mysteries. What else might we discover out there, waiting beyond the stars?
Mercury is a wild place. It's the closest planet to the sun, so you'd think it would be scorching hot all the time, right? Wrong. During the day, temperatures shoot up to 430 degrees Celsius, 800 degrees Fahrenheit. But at night, they plunge to a freezing minus 180 degrees Celsius, minus 290 degrees Fahrenheit. Mercury doesn't have a thick atmosphere like Earth. Instead, it has a super thin exosphere, which can't hold on to heat. This means the temperature swings are extreme, from boiling hot to bone-chilling cold. If you ever tried to survive a day on Mercury, you'd have to deal with the scorching sun roasting you alive or the icy night turning you into a popsicle. Even landing on this bumpy planet is a challenge, with no atmosphere to slow you down and the sun's gravity pulling you in all directions. So, would you brave the blazing heat or the freezing cold? Either way, Mercury is a planet full of surprises.
Hold on tight. Meet Kepler-70b, the exoplanet that spins so fast that you'd get dizzy just thinking about it. It's zipping around its star at mind-blowing speeds, over 1.5 million kilometers per hour. 1 year there, just a few hours long. Imagine celebrating New Year's every day. But this isn't your cozy neighborhood planet. Kepler-70b is insanely hot, hotter than some stars. It's so close to its sun that it's literally melting away. Think of it like a cosmic speedster, racing around while practically on fire. A day here, not ideal for a vacation. Fast, fiery, and unforgettable. Kepler-70b is a true cosmic wonder. Can you imagine living 250 million years ago? There are no beaches, no Wi-Fi, just one gigantic supercontinent called Pangaea, and terrifying creatures surround you. The early kings of the land, the Synapsids, are a mix between a dog and a lizard with thick skin and menacing teeth. You might stumble upon a Dimetrodon, a beast with a sail on its back to regulate its body temperature, or a Gorgonopsian, a saber-toothed terror that's the T-Rex of its time. Not scary enough? How about massive dragonflies and deadly insects lurking everywhere? And just when you think you might get used to it, disaster strikes. Volcanoes erupt, blocking out the sun and filling the air with toxic gases. Earth's biggest mass extinction wipes out 90% of marine life and 70% of all plants and animals. The survivors? Small resilient creatures that would eventually evolve into mammals, reptiles, and yes, even us. Ever wondered what would happen if the sun just vanished? It would get dark, right? But it's not just about light. No sun means no gravity holding us in place. Imagine Earth drifting away like a lost balloon, turning into a frozen rock. Yeah, we'd be like icy Pluto, just floating aimlessly. I could try holding us together with my own gravity, but it might not be enough. It's like the universe's way of saying, don't mess with the sun, but relax, the sun's not going anywhere. Yet, until it turns into a red giant and swallows us whole. Kidding, or am I? Ever wondered what happens when our sun, that big glowing ball in the sky, finally runs out of gas? One day it'll start to swell, becoming a red giant so big that Earth might get swallowed up. But let's not panic just yet. Before that, the sun will shed its outer layers, leaving behind a tiny super dense white dwarf. The Earth freezing over, oceans turning to ice, and the atmosphere collapsing. But hold on, this won't happen overnight. We've got billions of years to figure out how to survive. Who knows? Maybe by then we'll be sipping coffee on a space station. What if one day Earth just lost all its gravity? Well, first things first, you, me, and everything else would start floating. You'd be sitting in your chair, then suddenly whoosh, up you go. But it's not just us. Trees, cars, oceans, even the air would float away. Without gravity pulling everything down, Earth would turn into a giant space snow globe with stuff flying everywhere. And it gets crazier. Our atmosphere would drift off into space, meaning no oxygen to breathe. Yikes. Also the moon, it'd drift away too, so say goodbye to tides and moonlight. And let's not forget about Earth itself. Gravity is like the glue holding our planet together, so without it, Earth might literally fall apart, crumbling into pieces as it floats aimlessly through space. Scary, right? Far beyond our solar system, astronomers have found something astonishing, a strange planet transforming right before our eyes. This world, once a gas giant far from its star, is slowly spiraling closer. As it moves inward, the heat is rising, and it's evolving into what scientists call a hot Jupiter. Hot Jupiters are massive planets, many times larger than Earth, that orbit extremely close to their stars. This new discovery is different though. The planet's orbit is wild and eccentric, meaning it swings back and forth, coming dangerously close to its star and then flying far away again. With each pass, it gets hotter, its atmosphere swelling and storms becoming fiercer. This process may take millions of years, but it's like watching the birth of a chaotic world in real time. One day, this planet will settle into a fiery orbit, permanently locked close to its star, blazing with heat. It's a glimpse into the violent, ever-changing universe, where even massive planets are constantly shifting, growing, and transforming. What other cosmic surprises are waiting for us out there? There's a strange hole on Mars, a dark, deep pit that nobody expected. It was first seen by NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter as a mysterious black spot in the red dust. Scientists believe this hole is over 100 feet wide, but no one knows how deep it goes. What could be hiding inside? Is it an entrance to a hidden cave, untouched by time? Could there be water, frozen for millions of years, or even life hiding in the shadows? The hole looks so dark, it feels like it's swallowing light. It's a window into Mars's unknown. A mystery calling out to us. Some say it might lead to ancient lava tubes, created by volcanic eruptions from long ago. But what if it's more than that? What if this hole holds secrets that could change everything we know about Mars? A clue to its past or even its future? One thing is certain, as we look deeper, Mars keeps its secrets close, waiting for us to unlock them. And maybe, just maybe, this hole is the key. What if I told you there's a planet out there where skies are so dim and clouds so thick, sunlight barely reaches the ground? This is HAT P12b, a gas giant unlike any other. It's around 464 light years away from us, orbiting a faint star. But here's where things get strange. It's one of the puffiest planets ever found. Imagine a world so light you could almost float through it, yet it's bigger than Jupiter. This exoplanet is mostly made of hydrogen and helium, but don't be fooled. Its atmosphere might contain water vapor. Yes, water. Not enough to drink or live, but enough to make scientists wonder if these distant worlds could someday surprise us with life. As this enormous ball of gas whirls around its star in just 3 days, it's slowly teaching us about the mysteries of planets far beyond our own solar system. Every discovery here brings us one step closer to understanding the wonders of our galaxy. What other secrets does HAT P12b hold? Only time will tell. A place where everything you know about the universe breaks down. Welcome to the Black Hole, the universe's ultimate mystery box. It's like nature's biggest vacuum cleaner, sucking in anything that dares to come too close. Light planets, spaceships, even time itself. But what happens when something falls in? No one really knows. Some say it's gone forever. Others believe it's transformed into, well, something. Spaghettification? Yup, that's a real thing. If you get too close, you get stretched like spaghetti. But what's inside? Some believe there are other universes in there. A portal, maybe? Or just nothing at all. It's like the ultimate cosmic prank. You think you're gonna find all the answers, but it leaves you with even more questions. What's hiding inside? Only the black hole knows. What if, for just one day, Earth stopped spinning? The results would be terrifying. Right now, Earth is spinning at over 1,000 miles per hour. If it suddenly stopped, everything not tied down would keep moving at that speed. Cars, buildings, and even oceans would be thrown across the planet in chaos. Daytime would become a nightmare of endless heat as the sun baked one side of the Earth. The other side, a freezing pitch-black night that never ends. Winds stronger than the worst hurricanes would sweep across the planet as the atmosphere tries to catch up. But it gets worse. Without the spin, Earth's magnetic field could weaken, exposing us to deadly solar radiation. Life as we know it would be shattered. Thankfully, this will never happen, but if Earth ever stopped for just one day, it would change everything. What if I told you Earth once had more continents than we see today? Lost continents hidden beneath the ocean, forgotten by time. Recently, scientists made a shocking discovery, a long-lost continent under Europe called Greater Adria. It existed millions of years ago, but was crushed and buried beneath tectonic plates. And that's not all. In the Indian Ocean are traces of an ancient landmass named Mauritia. Bits of its crust were found deep under volcanic islands. Then there is Zealandia, this almost completely submerged continent near New Zealand. For years, it was ignored, but scientists have recently proven it's a lost piece of our planet. But why did these continents vanish? Forces beneath the Earth pull and tear, reshaping our planet. What else might lie beneath the seas, waiting to be discovered? These lost continents remind us, Earth's history is far more mysterious than we ever imagined. Picture this, you're chilling at home when suddenly, out of nowhere, the ground shakes like it's had too much coffee. That's right, it's an earthquake, but not just any earthquake, a superquake. So powerful it makes skyscrapers look like they're doing the worm. Then there's a mega tsunami, a wall of water taller than the Statue of Liberty, crashing down faster than you can say surf's up. But wait, there's more. Meet the pyroclastic flow, a volcanic avalanche of hot gas and rocks speeding down a mountain like it's late for a meeting. So the next time you're worried about a little rain, remember, Earth's got some real surprises up its sleeve.
Thousands of feet below, in a world where sunlight never reaches, creatures glow in the pitch-black waters, using bioluminescence to lure their prey. Anglerfish, with its light dangling from its head, waits for something to come too close. Snap, it's over in an instant. Even stranger things lurk deep within the Mariana Trench. Scientists have found bizarre life forms. Some resemble creatures from nightmares, like the faceless fish, which has no eyes. Then, there's the colossal squid, with eyes the size of dinner plates and razor-sharp hooks on its tentacles. No one knows how big they can grow, but some say they reach sizes larger than a school bus. Even more eerie, strange sounds are heard underwater, like the mysterious bloop. This loud noise, recorded by scientists, was so powerful that it could have been made by something bigger than any known creature. But its source remains a mystery. What's worse? We've only explored about 5% of the ocean. Imagine what's still hiding in the other 95%. From terrifying monsters to unexplained noises, the ocean has many secrets. But for how long? What else is waiting to be discovered, just below the surface? What if you found yourself in the middle of the creepiest places on Earth? Picture this, an abandoned island filled with old broken dolls hanging from trees, their eyes staring into your soul. Or imagine walking through a forest in Japan, known for being a place where many have disappeared. Every step feels like something is watching you from the shadows. Then, there's an entire ghost town in America, left to rot after a coal mine fire that still burns underground today. Why do these places feel so eerie? Could it be the past, or something much darker? The answer may terrify you. Would you dare to explore them?
Have you ever wondered what happens if you cry in space? It's not like crying on Earth. Tears don't fall in zero gravity, they stay on your face. Imagine tears forming into little bubbles, clinging to your eyes, making it hard to see. Crying becomes uncomfortable, almost like having a mask of water stuck to your skin. Without gravity, the tears won't drip down your cheeks. Instead, they float around, forming small blobs. Sometimes they even stay around your nose and mouth, making it feel strange to breathe. Astronauts have learned that wiping away tears in space is trickier than it sounds. But here's something even more surprising. Tears in space can sting. Without gravity, tears don't wash away the salty particles, so they build up and cause irritation. In space, something as simple as crying becomes a whole new challenge, reminding us that life away from Earth is full of surprises. Floating in the vastness of space are giant clouds of gas and dust called nebulas. But these aren't just beautiful cosmic clouds. They hold the secrets of the universe. Some nebulas are birthplaces for new stars, like the famous Orion Nebula, where young stars are born from swirling gas. Others, like the Crab Nebula, are the remains of a star that exploded in a supernova. These clouds stretch across light years, glowing with colors that come from different gases, like hydrogen and helium. They're not just cosmic art, they're clues to how stars, planets, and even life itself may have started. As we study nebulas, we unravel the mysteries of how the universe recycles itself. From birth to destruction, nebulas are where the magic of space happens, reminding us how connected we are to the stars.
What if we finally solved the Bermuda Triangle mystery? Imagine uncovering the truth behind the strange disappearances of planes, ships, and people within this notorious region. For decades, the Bermuda Triangle has sparked countless theories, some rooted in science, others in the supernatural. Could this region, stretching between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, hold secrets beyond our wildest imagination? The answer could change everything we know about the world. and the forces that govern it. Some believe that the triangle is a portal to another dimension, a place where the fabric of space and time bends. What if, when we solved the mystery, we found that these disappearances were the result of ships and planes slipping into an alternate reality? It sounds like science fiction, but in a world where we're constantly discovering new things about the universe, who's to say it's impossible? Imagine the shockwave this revelation would cause. If we uncovered proof of alternate dimensions, it would challenge everything we know about physics, the universe, and our place in it. The implications would be staggering. Would we finally understand time travel? Could we learn to pass between dimensions at will, exploring parallel worlds? Or would we discover that this other dimension is dangerous, a place from which there's no return?
What if there are infinite versions of you, living in countless realities? This is the multiverse theory, an idea that there are endless parallel worlds, each slightly different from our own. Some theories get even stranger. One suggests that every time you make a decision, a new universe is born where you choose the opposite. Another theory claims black holes are portals to other universes, each with its unique laws of physics. Some scientists think we might already be seeing signs of these other realities. The Mandela effect, where large groups of people remember events differently, is thought by some to be a glitch between universes. What if we're slipping between dimensions without even knowing it? But perhaps the most absurd theory is that we live in a simulation, like a video game created by advanced beings. Everything we know could be artificial, a programmed reality. If that's true, then somewhere out there is the real world. Whether you believe these theories or not, the idea of a multiverse stretches the limits of imagination. Could there be other worlds just a step away? Or is the truth even stranger than we can understand?
Space is full of wild surprises. First, let's talk about rogue planets. Imagine planets just wandering around the galaxy, not orbiting any star, like cosmic hitchhikers with no home. These planets are free spirits, traveling through space, and you never know where they might pop up next. Next up, we have neutron stars. They're like the Hulk of stars, small but incredibly strong. Just one spoonful of neutron star would weigh as much as a mountain on Earth. Then there's dark matter, the universe's biggest mystery. We can't see it, we can't touch it, but we know it's there because it plays hide and seek with light and makes galaxies spin faster. And who could forget black holes? They're like cosmic vacuum cleaners, sucking up anything that gets too close. Once you go in, there's no coming out. Not even light can escape. Finally, let's not leave out quasars. Imagine a black hole with a supercharged power-up, shining so bright it can outshine entire galaxies. These cosmic lighthouses are the true rock stars of the universe.
Let's start with the Danakil Depression in Ethiopia, a place that looks like it's from another planet. The neon green and yellow sulfur lakes and salt flats stretch on forever, making you feel like you've stepped into a completely different world. While it's a sight to see, this area is one of the hottest places on Earth, with temperatures that can hit 125 degrees Fahrenheit. It's not just the heat that's dangerous. Violent volcanic activity and toxic gases make it one of the most hostile environments on the planet. Imagine standing too close to these bubbling lakes, breathing in the toxic fumes, and feeling your lungs burn. Beauty here dares you to admire it, but it's also daring you to survive. Finally, we come to Antelope Canyon in Arizona. The smooth, glowing walls of the canyon, lit up by sunlight filtering through the narrow cracks, are nothing short of breathtaking. It's one of the most photographed spots in the world, with hues of orange, red, and pink swirling together in patterns you won't see anywhere else. But the beauty of Antelope Canyon comes with a serious risk: flash floods. When rain falls on the surrounding desert, water rushes into the canyon at a terrifying speed. In 1997, a group of tourists was caught in one of these floods, and only one person survived. The water can rise so quickly that you have no time to react. Visitors now have to check the weather closely, but even then, there's always a risk. Antelope Canyon may look peaceful and quiet, but in the blink of an eye, it can turn deadly.
What if time travel was possible today? Imagine it. One moment, you're sitting on your couch binge-watching TV, and the next, you're zipping through time. Sounds awesome, right? But hold on. Time travel isn't all futuristic fun and games. Let's see what could really happen if we suddenly got our hands on a time machine. So, first stop? Dinosaurs, of course. You land right in the middle of the Jurassic period, all excited, until you hear the ground shake. Oh no, it's T-Rex, and guess what? You're on the menu. Forget petting a Triceratops. You'll be running faster than you ever have in your life, Hope you brought your running shoes because those raptors don't care about your selfie stick. Now, let's say you want to visit the past. Cool, right? Until you accidentally step on a bug or sneeze at the wrong moment. Suddenly, you return to the present and oops, history is totally messed up. You thought you'd just take a peek at the pyramids being built, but now, instead of smartphones, everyone's walking around with stone tablets. Well done, time traveler. Okay, so maybe you decide to take a trip to the future. You zip ahead to see what the lottery numbers are, thinking you'll come back and be a millionaire. Nice plan. Until future you is super rich, but also lonely, because your younger self couldn't resist messing with the timeline. Now you're rich, but no one remembers who you are. That's the price of messing with the space-time continuum. Ever wondered what it'd be like to wear medieval armor or Victorian dresses? Time travel would give you that chance. But heads up, those clothes aren't as comfy as they look. Between corsets that squeeze the life out of you and armor that weighs a ton, you'll be wishing for your cozy sweatpants real quick. Good luck explaining why you're in sneakers in 16th century England. Of course, you'd be tempted to visit your younger self and give them a pep talk, right? Hey, invest in tech stocks. Avoid bangs. But there's a catch. What if your younger self sees you and freaks out? Or worse, what if you give them advice that ruins everything? One wrong tip and suddenly you're stuck working at that fast food joint you swore you'd quit. With time travel, you just know there'd be rules. Imagine getting a speeding ticket through time. You accidentally jump too far ahead, and boom, the time police show up at your door. Sir, you violated the time traveler's code. Please return to your century immediately. Try explaining that to your boss. Let's say you use time travel for the ultimate vacation. Why go to Hawaii when you could relax in ancient Rome, right? Sure, the togas are cool, but remember, there's no Wi-Fi, no coffee, and definitely no air conditioning. And don't even think about that luxury Roman bath. It's not as glamorous as it sounds. Worst case scenario? You get stuck in a time loop. You know, like reliving the same day over and over. Imagine repeating that awkward first date or constantly reliving that one time you tripped in front of your crush. Yep, you'd be stuck doing it again and again. Forever. Suddenly, staying in your own timeline doesn't sound so bad, huh? So, what's the takeaway? Time travel might sound fun, but with dinosaurs, fashion fails, and time police, maybe we should leave it to the movies. The present's not so bad after all. At least you won't get eaten by a T-Rex on your way to work.
Subscribe, like, and comment. Stay updated and join us as we explore limitless possibilities. Until next time.
What if the sun suddenly went dark? Boom. Lights out. 1 minute you're enjoying a sunny day, and the next, the universe pulls the ultimate blackout. What happens next? Well, hold on tight, because it's going to get real cold real fast. Let's dive into this cosmic disaster and see how things would unravel. First things first. Total darkness. But don't panic just yet. It takes about 8 minutes for light from the sun to reach Earth, so you wouldn't even notice the sun disappearing at first. Then, bam! The sky goes black, like someone hit the universe's light switch. Hope you've got flashlights. With the sun gone, temperatures would drop like a rock. Within days, the surface of Earth would freeze. Think Antarctica on steroids. If you thought winter was bad, try surviving in temperatures that could plummet to minus 100 Fahrenheit. Better start layering up. Ice Age fashion is coming back in style. No sun means no photosynthesis, and without photosynthesis, plants can't survive. And guess what? We kind of need plants for oxygen. Oh, and food. So, unless you've got a stash of canned goods and a greenhouse with some serious backup power, get ready for an all-carb diet until the food runs out. Yum? Let's face it, the world would go into full panic mode. No light, no heat, and no food. Cue the chaos. People would be rushing for supplies, and society, well, it might just crumble faster than that loaf of bread you're hoarding. Hope you like canned beans, because that's the new menu. If the sun stays dark long enough, the oceans would freeze over. Not just the top layer, everything. Imagine skating across the Atlantic Ocean. Sounds fun until you remember the fish, coral, and pretty much all ocean life would be goners. So much for beach vacations. Now, what if humans moved underground to survive? Imagine living in underground cities, powered by geothermal heat. No sunlight means no sunsets, no sunrises, just the constant hum of life under the Earth's crust. We'd all be pale, vitamin D deficient mole people. Fancy that? Alright, so the sun's gone. Time to pack up and find a new star, right? Only problem is, we're not exactly ready to hop on a spaceship and cruise to the next solar system. Plus, even if we could, where would we go? Our options are limited. So unless Elon Musk has something up his sleeve, we're stuck here for the ride. Eventually, Earth would be an icy, lifeless rock floating through space. The atmosphere would collapse, the air would thin out, and whatever was left of life on Earth could be frozen in time. So yeah, not the best ending to the story. So, what's the takeaway? Let's just hope the sun keeps shining for a long, long time. Because if it suddenly went dark, well, let's just say you'd want to start shopping for some serious winter gear. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We're excited to hear your ideas. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And stick around for more videos.
Imagine waking up one morning and looking up at the sky to see a planet. Not a tiny dot, not the moon, but a massive, unfamiliar planet, looming larger and larger every day. It's no illusion. This giant planet is heading straight for Earth. No one can stop it. No one can look away. What happens next? What if Earth collided with another planet? It begins quietly. Astronomers at observatories around the world start noticing something strange. At first, it's a faint dot in the distance, like a star, too small to cause any alarm. But as the days go by, the dot grows larger and moves faster. This is no ordinary star or meteor. It's a planet moving directly toward Earth. News spreads fast. Scientists try to understand how this is possible. How could a rogue planet suddenly appear out of nowhere? Was it pushed out of its orbit by a cosmic force? Did something massive disturb the balance of the solar system? These questions remain unanswered. But one thing is certain. The planet is on a collision course with Earth, and it's coming fast. The world starts to panic. Governments, space agencies, and leaders scramble to find solutions. But what can they do against a planet? Social media explodes with fear and disbelief. Everyone wants to know, is this the end? People across the globe gather outside at night to see the strange new object in the sky. It grows larger and brighter each evening until it becomes so big that you can see it during the day. Imagine standing in your backyard, looking up, and seeing a planet that seems to get closer every hour. Fear spreads like wildfire. As the rogue planet gets closer, strange things start happening on Earth. The gravitational pull of this massive object begins to affect our planet. Ocean tides rise higher than ever before, flooding coastal cities. Storms become more intense and unpredictable, whipping across continents with terrifying force. Earthquakes shake the ground beneath our feet, even in places that have never experienced them before. Communication systems start to fail. Satellites that orbit the Earth are knocked off course. GPS systems go haywire. Planes struggle to navigate the skies, and ships at sea are tossed by massive, unpredictable waves. The world is in chaos. Governments try to maintain control, but it's no use. People everywhere are filled with panic. There's nowhere to hide from this. No bunker, no shelter, no escape plan can save you from a planet colliding with ours. Imagine living in a big city, and suddenly the ground beneath you starts shaking. Skyscrapers tremble. People run through the streets, unsure of where to go. You look up at the sky and see the incoming planet, now so close it takes up a quarter of the sky. The fear is overwhelming, and no one can predict what will happen next. The incoming planet's size and gravity wreak havoc on Earth's natural systems. The moon's pull weakens as the new planet's gravity begins to dominate. Tides become monstrous, with water levels rising to heights never seen before. Massive tsunamis form out in the ocean, racing toward the land and swallowing entire cities as they crash ashore. The magnetic field of the Earth becomes unstable. Animals that rely on Earth's magnetic field for navigation, like birds and sea creatures, are thrown into confusion. Migratory birds fly in circles, unable to find their way. Whales and dolphins beach themselves in massive numbers, disoriented by the shifting forces around them. Humans feel the changes too. The air pressure shifts, causing people to experience headaches, dizziness, and extreme fatigue. Weather patterns become impossible to predict. Where it was once warm and sunny, blizzards suddenly appear. Deserts are hit with torrential rains, and tropical regions experience freezing temperatures. No one knows how long the planet will take to reach us, but every moment feels like it could be the last. Every glance at the sky reminds you of what's coming. The sense of impending doom hangs over everything. Then, without warning, pieces of debris from the incoming planet start to hit Earth. Small asteroids, broken off from the rogue planet, streak across the sky like fireballs. They crash into the surface of our planet with terrifying force. The impacts are like nothing Earth has ever experienced. Massive craters form where these chunks land, flattening forests, vaporizing lakes, and wiping out entire cities. Imagine hearing the deafening sound of an asteroid crashing into the ground miles away, but the shockwave still reaches you. Buildings crumble, windows shatter, and the ground shakes violently. Fires ignite everywhere. Smoke fills the air. The world is in complete chaos. In some places, entire regions are flattened by the blasts. Volcanoes that have been dormant for centuries suddenly erupt, spewing ash and lava into the sky. The air becomes thick with smoke, making it difficult to breathe. The Earth itself seems to be breaking apart under the stress of the incoming planet. But this is only the beginning. As the rogue planet gets closer, its gravitational pull becomes even stronger. The ground beneath our feet shifts. Massive cracks appear in the Earth's crust, stretching for miles. Buildings collapse into these enormous chasms, swallowed by the ground itself. People are trapped, unable to escape the destruction. In some parts of the world, entire mountain ranges are torn apart. The tallest peaks crumble into dust as the Earth's surface is pulled and stretched. Rivers change course, flooding areas that have never seen water before. The very landscape of the planet is reshaped by the force of the incoming planet. Meanwhile, the rogue planet is now so close that it fills the sky. You can see its rocky surface, its craters and its mountains, as clearly as if you were standing on its surface. The planet looks alien, with colors and textures that seem completely foreign to anything we've seen on Earth. It's terrifyingly beautiful. The closer the planet gets, the more violent the effects on Earth become. Entire continents shift. Tectonic plates grind against each other, causing massive earthquakes that ripple across the globe. Volcanoes erupt simultaneously, sending rivers of molten lava flowing across the land. In the final hours before impact, the planet is so close that night no longer exists. The light from the approaching planet illuminates the sky, casting eerie shadows across the ground. The heat from its atmosphere causes temperatures on Earth to rise. It feels like the entire planet is burning. People all over the world prepare for the inevitable. Some try to take shelter underground, in bunkers or caves, but deep down, everyone knows there is no escaping this. Others gather with their loved ones, waiting for the end. The world holds its breath as the two planets draw closer and closer. The air feels heavy as if the atmosphere itself is being compressed. The sound of the wind howling through the streets is deafening. It's a terrifying calm before the storm. Then the two planets touch. The impact is beyond anything we could imagine. The surface of the Earth explodes on contact. The collision sends shockwaves that travel faster than the speed of sound, flattening everything in their path. Cities are instantly vaporized. Mountains are turned into dust. Oceans boil and evaporate in seconds. The force of the collision tears massive chunks out of both planets. Huge pieces of the Earth's surface are thrown into space, raining down as fiery debris. The sky turns a deep red as the atmosphere ignites, creating massive firestorms that sweep across the globe. For those who witness it, the collision is a sight of unimaginable destruction. The ground trembles violently, as if the entire planet is being ripped apart from the inside. The sound of the impact is so loud that it can be heard on the other side of the world. It's the sound of two planets destroying each other. After the collision, Earth is unrecognizable. The surface is scorched, and the air is thick with smoke and ash. Massive craters, miles deep, cover the land. Where once there were cities and forests, now there is only ruin. But somehow, Earth is still here. Though heavily damaged, the planet has survived the collision. The rogue planet, too, has been shattered into pieces, some of which remain orbiting Earth as massive, newly formed moons. The survivors, those who managed to avoid the worst of the destruction, emerge from their shelters. The world they knew was gone, replaced by a hostile, alien landscape. But there is hope. Amidst the destruction, new materials from the rogue planet are discovered. Strange, alien metals and minerals could help rebuild civilization. As time passes, the fires burn out, the skies begin to clear, and the Earth starts to heal. Vegetation slowly returns. Animals, though many species were lost, begin to adapt to the new environment. Life, though changed forever, goes on. Thousands of years later, Earth is a very different place. The rogue planet that once threatened our existence has become part of our history and our landscape. The pieces of the destroyed planet orbit Earth, casting strange, beautiful shadows on the surface. Humanity, though drastically reduced in number, survives. The planet's surface is scarred by the collision, but new technology and discoveries have allowed people to rebuild. The alien materials from the rogue planet have been used to create new structures, new energy sources, and even new forms of transportation. The Earth spins faster now, making the days shorter and the climate harsher. But humanity has adapted to this new reality. Cities are built underground or within the craters left by the collision, using the natural shelter of the land for protection. This new era is both strange and full of opportunity. The collision, though devastating, opened doors to new discoveries, new technologies, and new ways of living. The story of Earth's collision with another planet is not just a story of destruction, it's a story of survival, of adaptation, and of hope. Humanity, despite the odds, managed to endure one of the most catastrophic events imaginable. The rogue planet is gone, but its legacy lives on. The materials it brought to Earth have reshaped the future, and the knowledge gained from this event has forever changed our understanding of the universe. What if Earth collided with another planet? The answer is terrifying, but it's also a reminder of how resilient we are. No matter what happens, life finds a way. Even after the most unimaginable destruction, we rebuild, we learn, we grow, and we continue. As you look up at the sky tonight, remember that our world is fragile, but we are strong. We have faced incredible challenges in the past, and we will face more in the future. But no matter what, we will keep moving forward. We will keep looking up at the stars, wondering what else is out there. The universe is vast, and we are just a small part of it. But even if a rogue planet were to collide with Earth, we would survive, we would rebuild, and we would emerge stronger than ever. The question isn't, what if Earth collided with another planet? It's what comes next. Subscribe, like, and comment. Stay updated and join us as we explore limitless possibilities. Until next time.
What's the most painful way to die in space? Buckle up, because we're about to take a wild ride through some of the most horrifying ways the universe could finish you off. Spoiler, space isn't exactly a vacation destination. So you're floating in space and your suit breaks open. Welcome to the cosmic vacuum. First, the air gets sucked right out of your lungs. Then your blood, it starts to boil. Not from heat, but because there's zero pressure out there. Your body bloats up like a balloon, and just before you pop like one, you lose consciousness. Lovely, right? Space is cold. Really, really cold. We're talking minus 455 degrees Fahrenheit. Cold. Without the sun's warmth, you'd slowly freeze solid like a human popsicle. And no, there's nothing cozy about it. Your body would radiate heat into the empty void until you're basically a block of ice floating through the stars. Hope you brought a jacket? If freezing to death sounds bad, how about roasting? If you're unlucky enough to get too close to a star, your skin would blister, burn, and, well, let's just say sunscreen isn't going to cut it. Temperatures could hit 500 degrees Fahrenheit, so you'd fry faster than bacon on a grill. Crispy, but not in a good way. Think getting hit by a grain of sand is no big deal? Try that at 45,000 miles per hour. Micrometeoroids are tiny, but they're traveling fast enough to punch straight through you. It's like getting shot by the universe's tiniest bullet, and with your luck, it's aiming for your face. Duck and cover? Nope, that won't help. Space is flooded with cosmic radiation. Without Earth's atmosphere to protect you, your DNA would take a beating. Your cells would start falling apart, and, oh yeah, cancer would be the least of your worries. It's like getting the world's worst sunburn, except this time, it's on your insides too. Nice. Imagine this. You're chilling in your spaceship, and then, boom! A hull breach happens. All the air rushes out, and your body, well, let's just say it doesn't handle sudden decompression very well. Your lungs explode, your blood boils, and your body swells up like a balloon before everything goes dark. Let's call it space's version of popping the cork. Got too close to a black hole? Big mistake. The gravity near a black hole is so strong, it'll stretch you out like spaghetti. First your feet, then your legs, then, well, you get the idea. You'll be the universe's thinnest pasta noodle before you disappear into nothingness. Buon appetito? Imagine being lost in space, drifting forever. No rescue, no hope. Eventually you'd suffocate, freeze, or starve. It's like a never-ending space nightmare. But hey, at least the view is good, right? So what's the moral of this space horror story? Stay on Earth. Trust me, space may look beautiful, but it's not exactly friendly. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We're excited to hear your ideas. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And stick around for more videos.
What if the world as we know it could disappear in an instant, all because of an invisible force from the sun? Could solar storms, these powerful blasts of energy and radiation, have wiped out ancient civilizations before? And the real question, could it happen again? Let's imagine for a second. You wake up one morning and everything feels strange. The sky looks different, glowing in a way you've never seen. The air has a buzzing feeling like something is about to happen. Then suddenly, lights flicker, your phone dies, and all communication stops. The power goes out. Planes fall from the sky. The world is thrown into confusion. And the scariest part? There's no way to fix it. This isn't just a scary thought. It's what could happen during a solar storm, one of the most powerful forces from space. Now, let's take this idea and go way back in time. Picture ancient civilizations, far before electricity, long before modern technology. The Egyptians with their incredible pyramids, the Mayans with their temples lined up with the stars. They knew so much about the sky, yet these great civilizations suddenly disappeared. People have always wondered why. But what if solar storms had something to do with it? What if a massive solar storm wiped them out, leaving nothing but mystery behind? In 1859, the world saw the largest solar storm ever recorded, the Carrington event. During that storm, telegraph wires sparked and caught fire. The night sky was so bright that people could read a newspaper outside at midnight. Can you imagine that happening today? The chaos would be unimaginable. But what if even bigger solar storms happened long ago and destroyed entire civilizations? No one would have known. No one could have warned them. It would have been destruction. Let's talk about how this works. The sun's surface is like a constant battle of energy. Sometimes the sun throws out huge bursts of particles, solar flares and coronal mass ejections that can slam into the Earth. If one of these hits us, it could knock out everything we rely on: satellites, electricity, and technology. But back in ancient times, a solar storm could have hit harder in other ways, destroying crops, changing the weather, or even causing sickness. Take the Akkadian Empire, for example. They ruled over Mesopotamia thousands of years ago, with huge cities and advanced systems. Then suddenly, they were gone. Historians have found evidence of a climate disaster around the same time, a drought that killed crops and ruined their empire. But could a solar storm have caused that drought? Did the sun itself turn against them, changing the weather and causing their civilization to collapse? Or look at the Mayans. Their cities, hidden deep in the jungles of Central America, were once full of life and knowledge. But by 900 AD, they had vanished. Historians point to a long drought. But what if that drought was triggered by a solar storm disrupting the Earth's atmosphere? Could the same storm that changed the weather for the Akkadians have also destroyed the Mayans? Now, think about ancient Egypt. They worshipped the sun as a god, believing it gave life to everything on Earth. But what if the sun betrayed them? In 525 BC, Egypt fell to the Persians, a defeat that shocked the world. Some think Egypt was already weakened by internal problems, but could a solar storm have weakened their food supplies, their economy, and their military, making them easy to defeat? Modern science is just starting to explore these ideas. We can measure solar activity today and predict when solar storms might hit, but back then, ancient civilizations had no way to know. To them, the sun was unpredictable, something they worshipped, but also something they feared. They couldn't have known that a solar storm could destroy everything they had built. And here's where it gets even more unsettling. Scientists today warn that another massive solar storm could strike Earth at any time. We're actually overdue for one. If a storm like the Carrington event hit us today, the damage would be catastrophic. Satellites would go down, GPS systems would fail, power grids would collapse, planes wouldn't be able to fly, society would be thrown into chaos. But what if the storm was even bigger? Some scientists say that a supersolar storm could strip away the Earth's magnetic shield, the very thing that protects us from deadly radiation from space. Without that shield, Earth could become a barren wasteland, unable to support life. It sounds like something out of a movie, but it's a real possibility. The sun is powerful beyond our control, and we are living on borrowed time. And here's something even more chilling. There is evidence that solar storms much bigger than the Carrington event have hit Earth before. Scientists have studied tree rings and ice cores and found spikes in radiation levels thousands of years ago. This suggests the Earth has been hit by massive solar storms in the past, storms that might have destroyed entire civilizations. Imagine the fear of living in a world where the sun, the very thing that gives you life, suddenly turns against you. The sky burns red, the ground shakes, crops die, your people starve, and you have no idea why. The sun, your life-giving God, has become your greatest enemy. Now, fast forward to today. We have the technology to watch the sun and predict solar storms. But even with all our advancements, we're still vulnerable. Solar storms are unpredictable. They can strike without warning, and once they do, there's no stopping them. So, what can we do? Scientists are racing to build better protection for our power grids and satellites. But is that enough? Could we be facing the same fate as those ancient civilizations, wiped out by a force beyond our control? The truth is, we don't know. We're at the mercy of a giant fiery ball in the sky, and we have no way of stopping it. The next time you look up at the sun, remember this. It's not just a source of warmth and light. It's a ticking time bomb, waiting to go off. And when it does, we might find ourselves wondering if we'll be the next civilization to vanish into history. As for those ancient civilizations, did solar storms annihilate them? Maybe the sun has already shown its power, and we're only now beginning to understand the truth. One thing is certain, the sun is far more powerful than we can ever imagine. And when it decides to unleash its fury again, will we be ready? Or will we become just another mystery for future generations to uncover?
What if I told you that the most terrifying alien-like creatures are not found in space, but right here on Earth, hiding in the depths of the ocean? What if the ocean, the very place we look to for calm, beauty, and peace, is hiding secrets so disturbing they can make your skin crawl? Right now, under the vast dark waters, things are happening that will shake your understanding of the world. Let's take a deep dive into the creepiest things happening in the ocean right now. Imagine the sunlit waves, a picture-perfect scene, but just beneath the surface, the water grows dark and cold. As you sink lower, deeper into the ocean, light disappears entirely. Down here, in the midnight zone, sunlight never touches. This is where the real nightmares begin. One of the creepiest things happening right now is the rise of the sleeper sharks. These massive predators are found in the deep, dark waters of the Arctic and North Atlantic. What makes them so unsettling? They live for centuries, up to 500 years. That's right, some of these sharks swimming today were born when humans were still in the Renaissance period. They grow incredibly slowly, and their massive, ancient bodies drift through the water like silent ghosts. They're also almost blind, their eyes clouded over by parasites that dangle from their sockets like something straight out of a horror movie. These ancient giants are living relics of a time long forgotten, haunting the depths of the ocean. And if you think sharks are the only creatures to worry about, think again. Off the coast of Australia, something strange is happening. Scientists have discovered a deadly new threat rising from the deep, the zombie worms. These creatures don't look like much, but they're part of one of the ocean's most horrifying feeding frenzies. Zombie worms feast on the bones of dead whales, ships, and anything that sinks to the ocean floor. These worms release an acid that eats through bones, allowing them to suck out the nutrients inside. Picture an underwater graveyard of whale skeletons, crawling with thousands of wriggling, blood-red worms. They devour flesh, leaving only the skeleton behind. This is happening right now, far below us, out of sight, out of mind. But let's go deeper, much deeper, into the abyssal plain, where it's cold, dark, and almost silent. Here, another terrifying event is unfolding, the rise of the bristleworms. These worms are unlike anything else. Their bodies are lined with with sharp, venomous bristles that pierce any creature unlucky enough to come too close. Their venom burns and causes intense pain, leaving their victims paralyzed. But that's not the creepiest part. Bristleworms are now swarming, multiplying in numbers like never before. They've become more aggressive, attacking fish, crabs, and anything in their path. They are turning the deep ocean into a battleground, and no one knows exactly why this is happening. Not far from these deadly worms, something even more disturbing is occurring. The once dead zone of the Pacific Ocean, an area where no oxygen exists, is coming to life, but not in the way you might expect. These areas, called anoxic zones, have been expanding, growing larger every year, and now they're filled with strange oxygen-starved creatures that can barely survive. Imagine an ocean desert where fish suffocate and float lifeless to the surface, while creepy, jellyfish-like creatures thrive in the poisonous water. The lack of oxygen is turning parts of the ocean into dead zones, places where nothing can survive except the most nightmarish of creatures. This silent death, happening in slow motion, is creeping across the ocean like a shadow. But the creepiest things aren't always big or aggressive. Some of the smallest creatures are the most terrifying of all. Right now, scientists are watching a massive bloom of bioluminescent algae spread across the oceans. At night, the water glows with an eerie, unnatural light. It's beautiful until you realize what it means. These glowing algae blooms are toxic. They're poisoning fish, making them sick, and causing mass die-offs across the world's oceans. As the algae die, they sink to the ocean floor, where bacteria break them down, sucking all the oxygen from the water. This leads to more dead zones and more dying creatures. It's a vicious cycle, one that seems to be spreading. And then there's the gulper eel, a creature so strange, it's hard to believe it's real. Right now, in the deepest parts of the ocean, these eels are hunting in the dark, their massive, gaping mouths capable of swallowing creatures larger than themselves in a single gulp. Their jaws unhinge, expanding like a monstrous balloon to trap their prey. What makes them even creepier is that we still know so little about them. These creatures hide in the deepest, most unreachable parts of the ocean, only surfacing occasionally. We don't know how many are out there, lurking in the abyss, waiting to strike. And as if the creatures themselves weren't enough, the ocean floor is hiding other terrifying secrets. In recent years, scientists have discovered deep-sea craters spewing methane gas from the seabed. These methane seeps are growing, releasing enormous amounts of methane into the water. As the gas rises, it forms bubbles, giant, deadly bubbles that could, in theory, cause ships to sink without a trace. Imagine a perfectly calm ocean when suddenly, without warning, a ship is swallowed by the sea, leaving nothing behind. These methane seeps are scattered across the ocean floor, and no one knows when or if one might erupt with catastrophic force. And then there are the black smokers. These underwater volcanoes are like something out of a science fiction nightmare. They spew boiling water and toxic chemicals into the ocean, creating a dark, hostile world where few creatures can survive. But the creatures that do survive are straight out of a horror movie. Giant tube worms, pale and ghostly, grow to several feet in length, feeding off the chemicals in the water. Around these vents, crabs with no eyes scuttle about, their legs long and spindly, like something from your worst nightmare. These ecosystems, so far removed from the sunlit world above, are entirely alien. They thrive in the darkness, where the water is toxic and life clings on by the thinnest of threads. And if all this isn't creepy enough, something is happening in the ocean that no one can explain. Off the coast of Japan, there have been reports of strange, unidentified sounds coming from the deep. These sounds, known as the bloop, are unlike anything scientists have ever recorded. The sound is so loud it can be heard across entire oceans, but no one knows what's causing it. Is it some unknown creature hiding in the darkest depths of the sea? Or is it something else, something far more terrifying? The ocean is vast, dark, and full of mysteries. And right now, as you sit here, these things are happening. The creatures of the deep are rising, multiplying, and changing in ways we can barely understand. The ocean, once a place of beauty and wonder, has become a place of nightmares. It's a world where the rules of life and death are different, where creatures that should not exist thrive in the shadows. But the creepiest part of all, we've only explored a tiny fraction of the ocean. Most of it remains unknown, untouched, and unexplored. What else is lurking down there, waiting to be discovered? What horrors are hiding in the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean, beyond our reach, beyond our understanding? One thing is certain, the ocean is not as calm and peaceful as it seems. It's a place of danger, of mystery, and of creatures that defy explanation. And as we continue to explore its depths, who knows what we will find next? The ocean is alive, changing, and creeping ever closer to revealing its darkest, most terrifying secrets.
Have you ever stopped and thought about the forces that can turn our world upside down? The ones that strike out of nowhere, leaving nothing but chaos and fear in their wake? Buckle up, because today we're diving headfirst into some of nature's scariest mysteries. And trust me, these might just keep you up tonight. Imagine a volcano so massive that when it blows, the entire planet is caught in its crosshairs. We're talking supervolcanoes. These are not your everyday lava spitters. These beasts can unleash enough devastation to make life on Earth hit the reset button. The last time one of these monsters erupted was 74,000 years ago, sending the planet into a volcanic winter. Cozy, right? Fast forward to today, and all eyes are on the Yellowstone supervolcano. This thing is a ticking time bomb, and if it ever decides to wake up, we're in for one wild ride. Picture this. It's just another morning, people snapping pics of the geysers, soaking up nature's beauty, when out of the blue, the ground starts rumbling. First, it's a little shake. No big deal, right? But then it gets stronger, and before you know it, the earth starts to crack. Smoke fills the air, and with a thunderous boom, ash erupts sky high, swallowing the sun in its wake. In minutes, ash clouds start spreading across the continent. The sky turns black, and what was once a sunny day becomes a never-ending night. Ash rains down, crops die, temperatures crash, and the planet is thrown into total chaos. The worst part? Scientists know it's coming, they just can't tell us when. Fun thought, but while we watch the Earth below, there's another monster lying in wait, just beneath the waves. 1 minute you're at the beach, soaking up the sun, enjoying the waves. Kids are laughing, surfers are catching that perfect wave, and then, suddenly, the ocean pulls back. It's like the sea just took a deep breath, and that's when you know something's coming. Out of nowhere, a wall of water, taller than a building, comes racing at you faster than you can blink. Tsunamis are a nightmare because they're almost impossible to predict. 1 second, you're chilling by the shore, and the next, the ocean is coming for you. Case in point, the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. It struck out of nowhere. A 9.1 magnitude earthquake sent waves crashing into 14 countries. 230,000 people gone in minutes. No warning, no chance. And here's the thing, tsunamis are still a threat today. Coastal cities sit there, vulnerable, just waiting for the ocean to remind us who's boss. When it happens again, and it will, there's nowhere to run. And while the ocean may seem angry, something far closer to home could be even more terrifying. You're walking down the street, or maybe just snoozing in your bed when, out of the blue, bam, the ground disappears beneath you. Sinkholes are like nature's trapdoor, a terrifying surprise with no warning. Homes, cars, streets, they can all vanish in the blink of an eye. Take the sinkhole in Guatemala City back in 2010. A factory gone, swallowed whole by a hole 60 feet wide and 300 feet deep. Imagine standing there 1 second, and the next, you're plunging into a pit that wasn't there moments before. No chance to run, no time to think, just gone. Florida, by the way, is sinkhole central. Every year, people wake up to find their homes being eaten by the earth. And the scariest part? It could happen anywhere. Maybe even under your feet right now. Fun thought, huh? While the ground might disappear beneath you, the sky can also surprise you in the most chilling way imaginable. Yep, you read that right. Blood rain. Sounds like something straight out of a horror flick, doesn't it? But this creepy phenomenon is all too real. Imagine looking up, and instead of a gentle shower, you see red rain falling from the sky. That's exactly what happened in Kerala, India, in 2015. The streets, painted red with crimson drops. Scientists say it's probably algae spores or dust from distant deserts. But let's be real, it's still terrifying. For centuries, people saw this as an omen, a sign of doom. And honestly, even with the science, it still feels like something supernatural's going on when blood starts falling from the sky. Eerie, right? But while we look up in fear, the ice of our world is quietly melting, creating yet another terrifying threat. As glaciers melt, something even scarier is emerging. Glacial lakes. These ticking time bombs are held back by walls of ice or rock, and when they burst, millions of gallons of water come rushing down, taking out everything in their path. Villages, forests, roads, you name it. Take the Himalayas, for instance. Glacial lakes there are growing bigger by the day, and when they go, the devastation will be massive. Imagine a wall of water suddenly charging down the mountain, wiping out everything in its way. You wouldn't even have time to scream. And with global warming, these lakes are getting more dangerous by the day. So yeah, keep an eye on those glaciers. They're not as harmless as they seem. But even as glaciers melt, another force of nature is lurking beneath the ocean's surface. Picture this. You're on a ship in the middle of the ocean, calm seas all around. Then, out of the blue, a wave the size of a skyscraper appears. Rogue waves. They rise out of nowhere and can sink ships in seconds. One famous rogue wave, recorded in 1995, was 84 feet tall. That's like getting hit by a wall of water out of thin air. Even with all our modern tech, these waves remain a mystery, and they're way more common than you'd think. Out there on the open sea, you never know when one's gonna strike. But as unpredictable as rogue waves are, they pale in comparison to the fiery fury that can emerge from the Earth itself. Now, if you thought regular tornadoes were bad, wait until you hear about fire whirls. Yeah, you heard that right. Tornadoes made of fire. They're rare, but when they happen, it's like the apocalypse has arrived. During the 2020 California wildfires, there was one so big you could see it from space. Imagine standing there, watching as a whirlwind of fire spins towards you, incinerating everything in its path. There's no running from something like that. Once it starts, it's game over. But if you thought the fire was bad, the sky has one more terrifying trick up its sleeve. Ever heard strange, loud sounds coming from the sky? People call them skyquakes, and they've been heard all over the world. No one knows what they are. Tectonic plates? Atmospheric pressure? Who knows? In 2018 in Canada, people were jolted by loud booms in the sky that shook houses, but no one could explain it. Imagine standing there in the dead of night and suddenly the sky starts howling. Creepy, right? And the scariest part? We still don't know what's causing it. And while these sounds echo from the sky, another storm brews that can send shivers down anyone's spine. We've all seen lightning, but then there's the kind that seems almost unreal. In Venezuela, the Catatumbo lightning storm goes on for hours, with thousands of strikes lighting up the sky like a fireworks show from hell. But don't get too comfortable, because lightning can kill, destroy, and cause chaos in the blink of an eye. Step outside during one of these storms, and you're playing with fire. Literally. But as we witness nature's terrifying power, the greatest threat of all might be something we can't stop, something slowly building. And finally, we're facing the biggest threat of all, climate change. Rising temperatures, more intense storms, wildfires, floods, you name it. The planet's changing, and it's not looking good for us. Scientists are sounding the alarm, and yet it feels like we're standing on the edge of a disaster we can't stop. The world is transforming before our eyes, and the future? It's looking pretty uncertain. So, what's the takeaway here? Nature doesn't play by our rules. These forces are unpredictable and unstoppable, and they'll keep us in awe and maybe a little terrified for a long time to come. The Earth is alive, always shifting and evolving, and sometimes it strikes when we least expect it. All we can do is watch as nature reminds us just how small we are.
In the last few billion years, Earth has faced many challenges. Asteroids have bombarded it, it's collided with other planets, and it's been frozen multiple times. Different kinds of life have ruled the planet. It's amazing that Earth has survived through it all. But to truly understand our planet's history, we need to go back to where it all started. Around 4.5 billion years ago, our solar system began to form from a cloud of gas and dust. This cloud collapsed into a spinning disk, which got hotter and hotter until hydrogen turned into helium. This is how our sun was born, and Earth started forming too. After the sun's birth, the leftover material at the edges of this spinning disk began to clump together, eventually forming planets and moons. These clumps grew bigger and more rounded. In the cooler parts of the solar system, these clumps were made of ice, liquids, and gases. Closer to the sun, rocky materials formed the inner planets like Mars and Earth. Early Earth was very active with lots of volcanic eruptions, releasing gases like hydrogen sulfide, methane, and carbon dioxide, which made up the first atmosphere. The young Earth was also constantly hit by large asteroids and comets. Then a planet about the size of Mars called Theia collided with Earth. This collision threw material into space, which eventually came together to form the moon. Back then, Earth had no oceans. All the water was in the form of gas. But 3.8 billion years ago, the planet cooled down enough for water to turn into liquid, forming the first oceans. This water was crucial for the creation of life, and around 3.7 billion years ago, life began to appear on Earth in the form of tiny organisms. A billion years later, some of these organisms began to change everything. Earth didn't stay a water world for long. Soon, the first continents started to rise from the oceans. Scientists call these early land masses cratons. As more land appeared, the first supercontinent, Volbara, formed, though it was smaller than modern Australia. Around 2.4 billion years ago, cyanobacteria evolved and started producing oxygen through photosynthesis, which changed the atmosphere and made Earth more livable. With more oxygen, the planet's carbon dioxide levels dropped, leading to Earth's first ice age. While Earth's atmosphere was changing, the continents were moving too. They eventually came together to form the supercontinent Rodinia, which might have been the largest in Earth's history. Life on Earth also became more complex during this time, but Rodinia eventually broke apart and a new supercontinent, Pannotia, formed. Between 540 and 485 million years ago, there was a huge increase in new life forms during the Cambrian explosion. Many animals during this time developed hard body parts like shells. Trilobites, strange creatures from this era, became especially well known. Around 250 million years ago, Earth had another supercontinent, Pangaea. Unfortunately, this was also the time of the largest mass extinction in Earth's history, known as the Great Dying. It wiped out about 90% of all species. However, this mass extinction allowed new life forms, including the first dinosaurs, to evolve. For the next 150 million years, dinosaurs dominated the planet. You might have seen the massive sauropod Argentinosaurus, the largest land animal ever, or the fearsome T-Rex. During this time, Pangaea also broke apart, forming the continents we recognize today. 66 million years ago, a massive asteroid hit Earth, landing where Mexico is today. This impact threw so much debris into the atmosphere that it blocked out the sun, causing a drastic change in the climate. As a result, the dinosaurs went extinct. Afterward, mammals began to thrive. Around 6 million years ago, the earliest known humans appeared, called Sahelanthropus. These early humans likely walked on all fours. But 4 million years ago, humans started walking upright, and 1 million years later, they developed the first tools. About 800,000 years ago, humans learned to control fire, which allowed them to cook food and stay warm. As their brains developed, they began interacting with each other and their environment in new ways. Between 40,000 to 15,000 years ago, all human species except Homo sapiens went extinct. 10,000 years ago, the first farmers appeared. These once nomadic humans settled down and started growing crops. Around 250 years ago, the Industrial Revolution took place, leading to major technological, economic, and cultural changes. Societies became more industrialized, and the human population grew rapidly. By 1804, the population reached 1 billion, and by 1927, it hit 2 billion. Since the 1960s, the global population has been increasing rapidly, now exceeding 8 billion people. Now we face a new challenge, climate change. Rising temperatures and sea levels, along with decreasing biodiversity, could lead to another mass extinction if we don't make changes soon. But that's a story for another time. And there you have it, the incredible journey of our planet, from its fiery beginnings to the world we know today. Earth's history is full of change and challenges, but it's also a story of survival and growth. As we look to the future, remember that the choices we make today will shape the world for generations to come. Let's work together to protect our amazing planet, so it can continue to thrive for billions of years more.
What if we finally solve the Bermuda Triangle mystery? Imagine uncovering the truth behind the strange disappearances of planes, ships, and people within this notorious region. For decades, the Bermuda Triangle has sparked countless theories, some rooted in science, others in the supernatural. Could this region, stretching between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, hold secrets beyond our wildest imagination? The answer could change everything we know about the world and the forces that govern it. The Bermuda Triangle is one of the greatest mysteries in modern history. Over 1,000 ships and planes have vanished without a trace in this area, often in calm weather and under mysterious circumstances. The disappearances are so frequent and unexplainable that it seems almost as if the triangle itself is alive, hungry, and constantly taking from the world. But what if, today, we discover the truth. What if we could finally answer the questions that have baffled scientists, explorers, and conspiracy theorists for generations? Let's dive into the possibilities of what might happen if the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle were finally solved. One of the most popular theories about the Bermuda Triangle is that it's a region where natural but unusual weather phenomena take place. There's something different about the air and water here. Strange fogs, waterspouts, and storms that appear out of nowhere have been reported for centuries. Scientists have been studying these unique weather patterns for years, suspecting that the triangle may experience rare air bombs, sudden, violent downdrafts that slam into the ocean with incredible force. If we were to solve the mystery and confirm that these air bombs are responsible for the disappearances, it would be both terrifying and reassuring at the same time. On the one hand, it would explain the sudden vanishings, no supernatural forces, no alien abductions. It would all come down to science and weather. But on the other hand, it would raise new fears. Could these air bombs strike other parts of the world? Could they become more common as climate change alters our atmosphere? If solving the Bermuda Triangle mystery leads to the discovery of a new, potentially deadly weather phenomenon, humanity would have to prepare for even more unpredictable and dangerous skies. Another possibility is that the Bermuda Triangle sits on a region of the Earth where magnetic anomalies occur. Many planes and ships that have disappeared here reported malfunctioning compasses just before they vanished. What if we solved the mystery and found that the triangle is a hotspot of electromagnetic energy? If that's the case, the implications would be groundbreaking. We already know that the Earth's magnetic field plays a crucial role in navigation, communication, and even in protecting us from harmful cosmic rays. But what if the Bermuda Triangle's strange magnetic forces are stronger than anywhere else on the planet? What if this area contains a magnetic anomaly so powerful that it can disrupt electronics, scramble radar, and cause compasses to spin wildly? Such a discovery would open the door to understanding how magnetic forces affect not just the Earth, but space travel and communication technology as well. But it doesn't stop there. If this magnetic anomaly is real and we solve it, could we harness it? Could humanity find a way to use this incredible energy for good? Imagine a world where we could tap into the raw magnetic power of the Bermuda Triangle. It could revolutionize our energy systems, reduce our reliance on fossil fuels, and give us access to a clean, limitless power source. Solving the Bermuda Triangle mystery might not just bring answers, it could reshape our future. Of course, not every theory about the Bermuda Triangle is rooted in science. Some believe that the triangle is a portal to another dimension, a place where the fabric of space and time bends. What if, when we solve the mystery, we found that these disappearances were the result of ships and planes slipping into an alternate reality? It sounds like science fiction, but in a world where we're constantly discovering new things about the universe, who's to say it's impossible? Imagine the shockwave this revelation would cause. If we uncovered proof of alternate dimensions, it would challenge everything we know about physics, the universe, and our place in it. The implications would be staggering. Would we finally understand time travel? Could we learn to pass between dimensions at will, exploring parallel worlds? Or would we discover that this other dimension is dangerous, a place from which there's no return? The more we think about solving the Bermuda Triangle mystery, the more we realize that the truth, whatever it is, could have far-reaching consequences. And yet, there are still darker, more unsettling possibilities. Some believe the Bermuda Triangle is home to ancient technology, perhaps left behind by a lost civilization like Atlantis. The idea of Atlantis being connected to the Bermuda Triangle is not new. For years, people have speculated that the advanced technology of this fabled underwater city could still be active, pulling ships and planes to their doom. But what if, upon solving the mystery, we find proof of this ancient civilization? Discovery would rewrite history. It would mean that the myths of Atlantis were real and that they were far more advanced than we ever imagined. But this also begs the question, why would this technology still be active? What purpose does it serve? Is it a defense mechanism designed to protect whatever secrets Atlantis holds? Or worse, is it a weapon left behind by a civilization that self-destructed long ago? If we found this technology, would we be able to understand it? Or would we, like Atlantis, be destroyed by powers we don't fully grasp? Then, of course, there's the possibility that the Bermuda Triangle's mystery lies not in weather or technology, but in the supernatural. Stories of strange lights, ghost ships, and sightings of UFOs have surrounded the triangle for years. Some people believe that extraterrestrial beings are responsible for the disappearances, either abducting people or experimenting on them. While this theory might seem far-fetched, imagine what would happen if we solved the mystery and discovered that the Bermuda Triangle is, in fact, a hotspot for alien activity. The discovery of extraterrestrial life would change everything. If UFOs are responsible for the disappearances, we would have proof that we are not alone in the universe. The questions that follow would be endless. Why are they here? What do they want? Are they hostile? Or have they been studying us for centuries? waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. Solving the Bermuda Triangle mystery in this way would spark a global frenzy. Governments around the world would scramble to understand and control this new reality. The public would demand answers. Conspiracy theories would explode, and the world as we know it would never be the same. Whatever the truth behind the Bermuda Triangle, one thing is certain. Solving this mystery would be one of the greatest discoveries in human history. It would answer questions that have haunted us for decades, and yet it would also raise new ones. Could we handle the truth? Would it be something that benefits humanity, or something that we're better off leaving unsolved? In the end, the Bermuda Triangle's allure lies not just in the disappearances, but in the fact that we still don't know. The mystery captivates us because it reminds us that even in the age of technology and science, there are still places on Earth where the unknown reigns. Solving the Bermuda Triangle would be the end of an era, the closing of a chapter in the book of human curiosity. But perhaps the real question is, do we want to solve it? Some mysteries, once uncovered, may take away the wonder. The Bermuda Triangle, in all its strange, unexplainable glory, may be one of those mysteries that keeps our imaginations alive. What if the truth is more terrifying than the unknown? What if the answers are not what we hope, but what we fear? For now, the Bermuda Triangle remains unsolved, its secrets locked away beneath the waves. And maybe, just maybe, that's the way it's meant to be.
Humans merging with AI, controlling the weather, bringing back extinct species. These are just a few things that might happen in the next century. Join us as we travel decade by decade to see what the future could hold for humanity in technology, space exploration, and more. In the next 10 years, space travel will make significant strides. SpaceX will send humans to the moon. It'll start with an unmanned mission, but soon, the Artemis mission will put humans on the moon again. And if you're curious about Mars, that's coming up later. On Earth, we'll see breakthroughs in medicine, like a vaccine for pancreatic cancer using mRNA technology. This vaccine will help the body fight off cancer cells after surgery, increasing survival rates. Meanwhile, climate change will continue to impact us. Bangkok, a city of 10 million, is sinking. The ground is dropping by 10 centimeters each year, and rising sea levels will cause severe flooding. In the worst-case scenario, 96% of the city could be underwater by 2030. On the roads, self-driving cars will become more common, though likely tied to a subscription service. Driving your own car might become a hobby, much like flying a kite. And with the rise of digital transactions, cash might become a thing of the past, with cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin becoming more popular. But Bitcoin mining's energy use is a concern. Luckily, companies like Griffin Digital Mining are working on eco-friendly solutions, using renewable energy to reduce their carbon footprint. Space exploration will go even further. We'll send a submarine to Titan, Saturn's largest moon, to explore its hydrocarbon seas and possibly learn more about the origins of life on Earth. This decade will also see humans landing on Mars, solving challenges like radiation exposure, producing oxygen, and building shelters. But back on Earth, temperatures will rise by 1.5 degrees Celsius, leading to more extreme weather events and the extinction of species like lemurs and koalas. The U.S. will see more intense hurricanes, and coastal cities may become uninhabitable. Demographically, the U.S. will see a shift, with white people becoming a minority by 2044. Temperatures will rise even more, leading to the extinction of 40 to 50% of species, including African forest elephants and Amur leopards. The Dead Sea will evaporate due to extreme heat. In response to these challenges, there will be a push for innovation. Fusion power, a clean energy source, will become commercially viable, reducing carbon emissions. We might also get a response to a message Ukraine sent into space in 1999, reaching a star 52 light-years away by 2051. The Beatles' music catalog will enter the public domain in 2058, and will have established a permanent presence on Mars, though not as large as Elon Musk predicted. On Earth, nanotechnology will advance, leading to clothing that repels water and dirt, reducing the need for laundry. Coal and oil will be phased out, with solar and wind power taking over. Pico technology, even smaller than nanotech, will allow scientists to manipulate atoms and create new types of matter. Medical advancements will include 3D printing body parts and curing diseases through gene editing, helping people live longer. By the late 2070s, the transition to clean energy will be complete. As we look ahead to the next century, It's clear that the future holds both incredible advancements and serious challenges. From exploring new worlds to reshaping our own, humanity will continue to push the boundaries of what's possible. But with great power comes great responsibility. It's up to us to make choices that ensure a better world for future generations. The future is in our hands. Let's make it a bright one.
Imagine standing in paradise, surrounded by beauty so stunning it almost feels unreal. The sun sets over a crystal-clear lagoon, and the sky glows in bright shades of orange and pink. But here's the catch. Beneath the calm surface, something dangerous lurks. Something that could take your breath away in the worst possible way. There are places on Earth that are so beautiful, they make you feel like you're in a dream. But as soon as you learn the truth, the dream becomes much darker. Let's start with the Danakil Depression in Ethiopia, a place that looks like it's from another planet. The neon green and yellow sulfur lakes and salt flats stretch on forever, making you feel like you've stepped into a completely different world. While it's a sight to see, this area is one of the hottest places on Earth, with temperatures that can hit 125 degrees Fahrenheit. It's not just the heat that's dangerous. Violent volcanic activity and toxic gases make it one of the most hostile environments on the planet. Imagine standing too close to these bubbling lakes, breathing in the toxic fumes, and feeling your lungs burn. Beauty here dares you to admire it, but it's also daring you to survive. Now let's take a deep dive into the ocean to a place that looks like it's straight out of a fantasy, the Great Blue Hole off the coast of Belize. From above, it's mesmerizing, an almost perfect dark blue circle surrounded by bright turquoise waters. Divers from all over the world are drawn to its beauty, eager to explore its depths. But once you're down there, it's a different story. The deeper you go, the darker and colder it gets, and the once peaceful waters start to feel unsettling. The Great Blue Hole is over 400 feet deep, with caves that have claimed the lives of even the most experienced divers. Water pressure can shift suddenly, and before you know it, you're disoriented, lost in the endless dark. The ocean can be stunning, but here's a reminder. It's a world that doesn't care if you make it back to the surface. Speaking of things that could turn on you, let's climb up Mount Vesuvius in Italy. On a clear day, the view from the top is breathtaking. You can see the city of Naples below and the shimmering Mediterranean Sea in the distance. Thousands of people hike up to the crater every year, amazed by the volcano's history and the incredible view. But here's the part that'll make your stomach drop. Mount Vesuvius is still active. It could erupt at any moment. The last time it erupted in 1944, it destroyed villages, but that's nothing compared to what could happen next. This is the same volcano that wiped out Pompeii in 79 AD, burying thousands of people alive under hot ash in minutes. It hasn't erupted since, but scientists say it's long overdue. The peaceful view might make you feel safe, but just under the surface, the magma is bubbling, waiting to strike. Ready to face something even more mysterious? Let's head to the Bermuda Triangle, a stretch of ocean that looks just like any other, but hides some of the most bizarre disappearances in history. Stretching between Florida, Bermuda, the Bahamas, and Puerto Rico, it's earned a terrifying reputation. Pilots report their instruments going crazy, and sailors speak of strange lights and sudden storms that appear out of nowhere. Planes and ships have vanished without a trace, and to this day, no one knows why. Some blame magnetic fields, others talk about underwater gas explosions. But here's the thing, there's no concrete explanation. And once you enter the Bermuda Triangle, there's a chance you might never come back. Calm blue waters are just a cover for the dangers that lie beneath. From the sea, let's take you to the heights of Angel Falls in Venezuela. The waterfall is the tallest in the world, and it's nothing short of magical. Water tumbles from over 3,200 feet, creating misty rainbows that make you feel like you've stumbled into a fairy tale. But getting to Angel Falls is an adventure that's not for the faint of heart. You'll have to trek through dense jungles filled with dangerous wildlife like jaguars and venomous snakes. And once you get there, the isolation is real. The rivers are fast, the terrain is unforgiving, and one wrong step could send you plunging into the powerful waters below. The beauty is worth the journey, but nature doesn't always play fair. The further you go, the higher the stakes. Speaking of water, let's not forget Lake Natron in Tanzania. From a distance, the lake looks like something out of a painting, with bright red water reflecting the sun. But up close, it's far from inviting. The red color comes from minerals that turn the water into a salty, alkaline mix so harsh it can burn the skin and eyes of any animal that dares to get too close. Birds that mistakenly land on the lake's surface are often found later, perfectly preserved, turned into stone-like figures. The beauty here is undeniable, but the lake is as deadly as it is stunning. It's a place where nature's artwork turns life into a statue. Finally, we come to Antelope Canyon in Arizona. The smooth, glowing walls of the canyon, lit up by sunlight filtering through the narrow cracks, are nothing short of breathtaking. It's one of the most photographed spots in the world, with hues of orange, red, and pink swirling together in patterns you won't see anywhere else. But the beauty of Antelope Canyon comes with a serious risk: flash floods. When rain falls on the surrounding desert, water rushes into the canyon at a terrifying speed. In 1997, a group of tourists was caught in one of these floods, and only one person survived. The water can rise so quickly that you have no time to react. Visitors now have to check the weather closely, but even then, there's always a risk. Antelope Canyon may look peaceful and quiet, but in the blink of an eye, it can turn deadly. So there you have it, places that are so beautiful, it's hard to believe that they can be so dangerous. These locations tempt you with their wonder, but they also hide risks that could turn your visit into a nightmare. The beauty of nature is incredible, but it's important to remember, some of the most stunning places on Earth are also the most terrifying. They draw you in with...
Far away in the universe, there's a planet that could change everything. It's called Wolf 1069b, and it orbits a small, quiet star. But why is it so special? This planet sits in the Goldilocks zone, where it's not too hot and not too cold, making it possible for liquid water to exist. And where there's water, there could be life. Wolf 1069b is about the same size as Earth, and it's rocky, just like our home. Could this be the new Earth we've been searching for? Scientists are eager to find out. The planet is close enough to its star to stay warm, but far enough to avoid dangerous solar radiation. But what truly lies on Wolf 1069b? Could there be oceans, mountains, or maybe even creatures looking up at the stars like we do? The more we discover about this mysterious world, the closer we come to answering one of humanity's oldest questions: are we alone in the universe? Wolf 1069b could be the key.
What if you could time travel to any era? Imagine standing in ancient Egypt, watching the pyramids being built with your own eyes, or walking through a medieval castle, feeling the cold stone walls and hearing knights preparing for battle. But what if you accidentally landed in the future? A world where technology has taken over and robots rule the cities. Could you survive in a place where nothing is familiar? Each era holds mysteries, dangers, and incredible moments. Would you risk it all to experience them? The past and future await, but can you ever come back once you go?
Now, what if humans moved underground to survive? Imagine living in underground cities, powered by geothermal heat. No sunlight means no sunsets, no sunrises, just the constant hum of life under the Earth's crust. We'd all be pale, vitamin D deficient mole people. Fancy that? Alright, so the sun's gone. Time to pack up and find a new star, right? Only problem is, we're not exactly ready to hop on a spaceship and cruise to the next solar system. Plus, even if we could, where would we go? Our options are limited. So unless Elon Musk has something up his sleeve, we're stuck here for the ride. Eventually, Earth would be an icy, lifeless rock floating through space. The atmosphere would collapse, the air would thin out, and whatever was left of life on Earth, it'd be frozen in time. So yeah, not the best ending to the story. So, what's the takeaway? Let's just hope the sun keeps shining for a long, long time. Because if it suddenly went dark, well, let's just say you'd want to start shopping for some serious winter gear.
What are the scariest things in the world? Sure, spiders and heights might give you the chills, but the real terrors are even more shocking. Picture the deep, dark ocean, where mysterious creatures like the giant squids swim in the shadows, so rare that scientists barely know them. Or think about space, cold, silent, and infinite, where it's just you and the endless void. Scary, right? Then there are natural disasters like earthquakes and tornadoes that hit out of nowhere, leaving destruction in their path. But even scarier? Superbugs, tiny, invisible bacteria that no medicine can stop. They're out there waiting. What would you do if you came face to face with one of these nightmares?
In 1977, humanity sent 2 small probes into the unknown, Voyager 1 and 2. They were meant to explore our solar system, but what happened next went beyond anyone's imagination. Voyager 1 is over 14 billion miles from Earth, the farthest any man-made object has ever traveled. It left the bubble of our solar system and entered interstellar space, where the environment is completely alien. It sends whispers from the edges of our solar system, strange sounds from deep space. Voyager 2 followed, sending back data from Uranus and Neptune, places no other spacecraft has visited. Over 40 years later, both probes continue to send signals back to Earth. They carry a golden record with the sounds of Earth, a message to any life they may encounter. Imagine something built by us, floating between stars, carrying the story of our existence. The Voyager probes prove one thing: our journey into the universe has only just begun.
How many types of tornadoes are there? You might be surprised. When you think of tornadoes, you probably imagine a giant funnel tearing across the ground. But did you know they come in all shapes and sizes? Some are small, quick, and disappear in seconds, while others turn into massive, unstoppable forces. There's the familiar supercell tornado. Yes, the kind that rips through towns. But have you ever heard of a wedge tornado? It's so huge, it can look like a wall of clouds crashing down. And let's not forget the water spout, a tornado over water, just waiting to move onto land. These storms are unpredictable and powerful. Can you imagine what it would be like to face one?
Imagine 2 of the densest objects in the universe speeding toward each other. These are neutron stars, leftovers from massive stars that exploded long ago. Now picture them colliding. The moment they meet, it's like a cosmic fireworks show. The impact creates a shockwave so powerful that it ripples through space itself. Gold and other precious metals are forged in this chaos, scattered across the universe like confetti. But that's not all. This collision might even create a black hole, a hungry beast ready to gobble up anything nearby. It's a cosmic clash that's both terrifying and awe-inspiring.
Imagine a world where you're about to dip into an icy lake. But it's not water you're diving into. It's liquid methane. Welcome to Titan, Saturn's most mysterious moon, where lakes shimmer with a chilling, alien liquid. Your mission? A 5-second swim. Easy, right? Well, Titan is no quick trip. It's over 1 billion kilometers away, and the journey alone takes 7 years. You finally land, and as you step